Star Wars, Young Jedi Knights, Delusion of Grandeur, Chapter 8. For the 10th time, Lowe adjusted his crash webbing and rearranged his limbs in the rising star's cramped co-pilot area. But his fidgeting was due more to nervousness than discomfort. In contrast, Raba's movements were spare and confident. Like a well-rehearsed dance, her deft fingers punched in coordinates and flicked switches, preparing for the skimmer's jump to hyperspace. Away from Yavin 4, away from his friends at Jedi Academy. Lowe's fingers tapped restlessly against one hairy knee until Raba told him to relax. He tried folding his hands and leaning back in the seat, but that was too stiff and awkward. He reached down to check EMTD, only to remember he had left the little droid behind him with Jaina and the Jungle Moon. The tension inside Lowe just had to get out. He jiggled one leg, but decided it might irritate Raba, and so stopped. He settled for simply crossing his arms over his chest. It was ironic that Lowe should feel so self-conscious alone with Raba. She had been his sister Sierra's friend, but Raba had always admired him when they were growing up, had even attempted her rite of passage alone because of the way Lowe had done it. But now, the chocolate-furred Wookiee seemed different. Poised, independent, self-assured, he was not sure what to make of her anymore. Even the freshly washed strip of red cloth she wore, clinched above her ears as a headband, made him wonder how well he knew her. Or had he ever known her? She carried an energy and sense of direction that he couldn't help but admire. Lowe supposed anyone could find those qualities attractive. A tunnel lined with star streaks dilated in front of them as Raba launched the rising star into hyperspace. Lowe shifted his weight and began to assess his agitation and restlessness with detached interest. He had always been confident, too, priding himself on being a deep thinker. He knew he could figure this out. Reason and logic came naturally to him. And he had no rational cause to be nervous, just because Raba had changed. In the past, however, deep thought and discussion had not been really something that he and Raba had shared. Lowe wondered if she had changed in that respect, too. Well, they were going to be in hyperspace for quite a while, so there was no better time to find out. He started the conversation by telling Raba that she seemed like she'd done a lot in growing up since they'd known each other in Kashyyyk. The Wookiee woman found grim amusement in his observation and answered with a bitter growl of laughter. It would have been hard not to grow up after the atrocities she'd heard of and witnessed firsthand. She and Lowe had both led sheltered lives in the beautiful tree world in Kashyyyk. She explained even the dangers of the lowest forest levels were nothing compared to the barbarous cruelties the alien species of the galaxies had suffered. This was what the Diversity Alliance had taught her. And most of these atrocities had been committed by humans. That was why the Diversity Alliance was so important as a political force for change, Raba went on, the passion in her voice rising. The Alliance accepted and championed the rights of all the species who had suffered indignities at human hands. For example, the Empire had never been punished for its enslavement of Wookiees. The Diversity Alliance vowed to never to allow such a thing to happen again. All the species have been affected by the human-loving Empire's requisition and prejudice, in fact. Raba spoke with fire in her voice. Her eyes flashed, and Lowe couldn't help but realize how large and beautiful those eyes were, or how the shaved patches at her wrists, elbows, and neck contrasted with her luxurious dark fur. Clearly, Raba had given some thought to the Diversity Alliance and what it stood for. Lowe was impressed by her spirit and enthusiasm, but also disturbed by the conclusions she drew. Humans were not the only species that had ever mistreated another, he pointed out. Surely she couldn't believe that all of the ills of the galaxy were the sole responsibility of human beings. Raba pondered for a moment. No, she admitted, the other species had mistreated one another. The Diversity Alliance abhorred any abuse of alien species, even by each other. Lowe rumbled thoughtfully, then asked if the Diversity Alliance had abhorred the mistreatment of humans by other species. Raba looked uncomfortable at the turnabout. For now, the Diversity Alliance did not have the resources to concern itself with the treatment of humans. Conceived, the subject simply did not come up. Raba shrugged. Perhaps such situations were abnormalities, a minor swing of the pendulum. It was the alien species who needed protection from the abuse. The humans could take care of themselves. With the Diversity Alliance, Nola Tarkona was searching for the answer to all their problems. And as soon as they found the long-awaited solution, the galaxy would be free again. In a consoling tone, Raba asked Lowe not to make up his mind in advance. She wanted him to meet the friends and listen to what they had to say. The Diversity Alliance was a place where she felt that she belonged. If Lowe kept an open mind, he might find that he belonged there too. It would be nice to have him with her. The Diversity Alliance could very much use the help of someone special like a Force-talented Wookiee. Perhaps his sister Sierra would want to join as well. Even if Sierra wasn't interested, though, Raba asked Loy to think about how much time the two of them could spend together if they were both part of the Diversity Alliance. Loy thought about it a lot.